Let's hope, no, that's backwards. I'll see if I can speak backwards. I wish I had thought of the Tiffany Circle. In 2007, the American Red Cross launched a fundraising scheme for high-value donors, which was exclusively for women. The ask is to give $10,000 a year or more, and to commit to do that on an ongoing basis. It's called the Tiffany Circle, by the way, named after the window. This is a small part of the window, designed by Tiffany Studios for the Red Cross headquarters in DC. Over the 6 years that it's been running, there are now 1,000 or more members of the Tiffany Circle, organized state by state around the US, and they've raised over £28 million, nearly $50 million. So last year, the British Red Cross launched an equivalent scheme, also called the Tiffany Circle, asking donors to give £5,000 a year or more. So far, they have more than 20 members, and it has raised over £500,000. That 20, if you imagine, those 20, if they could invite 5 of their friends each, they'll be up to 100. If they could invite 3 or 4 friends each, they'd be up to 300 or 400. Can you imagine how quickly the income from this will grow? It's quite amazing. Just to give you an indication of how successful it's been, the lady who runs the Tiffany Circle for Red Cross was named Fundraiser of the Year in their recent internal fundraising awards. By the way, the Tiffany Studios who designed that window are the same Tiffany that have done the jewelry that you may know. Now, what drew me to this fundraising program with attractive, wealthy women? Well, it is actually relationship. It does begin with relationship. Now, I'm not just saying that because there's somebody here who wrote a book called Relationship Fundraising, but surely this is relationship fundraising at its absolute best. Mark Astorita recently tweeted that he'd been in Boodles having dinner with the Tiffany Circle. In terms of access to the staff at the charity, this is unparalleled, and it's about developing and deepening the relationship and also relationship with each other. The supporters get that relationship. They also get some involvement. They can decide what the money is to be spent on. They decide what projects should be chosen, and they go out to see some of the projects in action. And the projects are both international and domestic. In America, the Tiffany Circle focuses just on projects within the US, helping the communities, their local communities. The Tiffany Circle here was adapted more for a UK market and is international. Another reason I love it is because of the events. It's all hinged on events. Anybody here who does major donor fundraising will know the power of events. The thing about this is I speak as a man, there is a unique peer-to-peer dimension of this, which is about it being exclusively for wealthy philanthropists who are women. You may know Frederick Mulder, who has been known as founding a giving club or a giving circle, which is now the biggest, certainly in this country, who said giving, like many other activities, is more interesting, more satisfying, and probably more competent if it is done in the company of other people. And the giving circle that he runs, the funding network, is based on events, and that's what drives the success of the Tiffany Circle. Another one is commitment, and you'll know all the stuff from Adrian Sargent about commitment, the difference between passive commitment and active commitment. If you can get active commitment, then in the long term, supporters are 3 or 4 times more valuable to the organization. Can you think of any other type of fundraising which generates more active commitment than this? And then the final reason I love it is because it is about growth. Growth of the individual. There's so much that the supporter gets out of this. A 2009 study in the US into the impact of giving circles on the people who are members of them found several really significant things about what happens when you are a member. First of all, you give more as a consequence of being involved in a giving circle. You also give more strategically. You're much more involved in the way that your giving can make a long-term impact. As a result of that, you give to a very wide array of organizations. because of that wider involvement. You're highly engaged in the community. Now in the US, as I say, with the Tiffany Circle being focused on local projects, state by state, helping local communities, the members of the Tiffany Circles help out in soup kitchens and homeless shelters and lots of other things, and food banks and things around the US. Here, a very similar thing is true. The domestic project that's been chosen by the British Red Cross focuses on women and girls who've been abused and have faced difficult situations. And they get to meet the people here, as well as traveling to see the impact of their work. And finally, it's a way of growing in knowledge of philanthropy, the process of philanthropy, the joy of philanthropy, and the experience of giving. Giving Circles is one name, but really in some respects this Tiffany Circle is probably slightly more accurately called a giving club, in that as opposed to the funding network where there's a wide array of causes and projects and charities that they will look at, the Tiffany Circle is actually just focused on Red Cross, and therefore I'd say it's probably more of technically more of a giving club. And there's lots of examples of that. It's an area of fundraising that's really growing. So my final word to you is just to check out the 1804 partnership. I'd love your feedback because we've launched last year, September last year, we launched our own giving club at Vibe Society, which is a similar sort of product to this. So any thoughts, please tweet me. I'd love to hear.